Live. Not too long ago from right now, I was chatting Be Real with D Real. He's on a live stream. It's happening right now. He hasn't closed it out yet, but he mentioned something about the Black Panther. I chimed in with what exactly the title is right now. And it's that when they cancel that Black Panther comic book and when they reboot with the same writer doing a story on Shuri as the Black Panther, I'm going to boycott loudly. I'm going to speak up against diluting the mantle, the brand, and everything that is Black Panther. T'Challa. That's the number one superhero that's ever existed with a melanated skin tone. I'm when they do this, when they say, no, we're not going to tell no Black Panther comic book stories of T'Challa, and we're going to still have Black Panther, but we'll associate it with somebody else. I'm going to recognize the time period that we're in and the battle that is up ahead. All Panthers matter is what I'm going to call it. That's the tactic that they are taking, and that's the tactic I can't get with, and I will not financially support the dilution of this comic. Call me paranoid, call me a guy who's just making a theory and acting on it or speaking against it, that's fine. The sales of this comic book are low. I was looking over it. If you watched my T'Challa Time YouTube video that I record, I just got a notification that I'm live. That's hilarious. The T'Challa Time video that I shot a couple days ago, it's up on my YouTube channel. If you skip to the end, or if you already watched it but you didn't watch it to completion, go back to the ending. There's a point in time where I kind of look over the sales, and according to estimates, I'm using Comic Book Revolution, who get their information from ICV2. For those of you who care, it's the 144th highest selling comic. Those are August numbers. Issue 4 came out in September, issue 5 in October. It is not the 144th highest selling comic anymore. It's below that. Back during the March of 2020 golden time period when Diamond was listing their numbers, Diamond, the distributor, they had it as the 144th comic was roughly, 13K, 11K. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something near where you start canceling comic books. When the sales are so low that it is not worth printing anymore, it's better off to cancel it. Hey, we could even keep the same creative team and start a new number one, which would mean that the variants and the ratio stuff and the stores will over order a number one for like 5 issues and just do a limited series of Black Panther called Black Panther Shuri or something like that. Hey, Black Panther Return to the Throne. That would be a pretty sick limited series that they could do. Because don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted one little iota. The reason for the low Black Panther comic book sales is because readers went to this comic. Okay, Dr. Evel Ewan, Chris Allen. It appears that this man is not the king anymore. I shall no longer support it. And comic shops stopped ordering such a high volume because he's not the king anymore. And that is an appealing story that is a counter to what the comic book character is supposed to be. Back to sales, they warrant cancellation. Comics don't get canceled at issue number 5. They don't get issued. They don't get canceled to issue number 5. It's a little trade paperback that they're going to collect all the stories in. If they're still going, the next time for a cancellation would be issue number 10. Or they keep going, or there's going to be a 5-issue trade paperback and it'll be canceled at 15. Or like the last issue, the last run, the last little volume was. Or we'll keep going, we'll cancel issue 20. Those are like checkpoints for cancellations. As someone in here says, 50 Shades of Beige. Yep, Disney killed it. I think you thought you're talking about the movies. And as the title says, when they cancel the Black Panther comic and reboot with Shuri, I'll boycott loudly. Which I'm very prepared for. You're being misogynist. How could you not support a woman? No, you fucktard. I am pro Black Panther. You see, the greatest character that's ever happened, who's black, that needs to have no competition within his own franchise. That would be detrimental to racial goddamn progression. And for me to support and give money and fund my own oppression would be ridiculous of me to do so. Instead, I'm going to take my comic book sales, which I buy every Black Panther comic and a couple variants, and I'm going to withhold that dollar from that Marvel comic book company. And I'm going to tell them that you do not make money when you don't have him as the Black Panther, and when you have other people trying to, or when you use these other characters to mix in with the advancement that is happening. The goal should always be having the Black Panther get higher. To associate the word Black Panther with another character is to attack the elevation goal. What I mean is because Disney killed off the Black Panther in the movie, people lost interest in the comic. I think the way that that last issue ended, man, with from issue 15, when that piece of human garbage was writing it, when he says, I'm not going to be the Black Panther anymore. I think when that happened, hey, look, we rebooted, so sales were up high. Everyone read issue number 1, and they said, oh, we're continuing with that, where he's not the Black Panther anymore, and he's like this fringe Black Panther. That's crazy. Do you know how much responsibility the writer Evel Ewing has for this? The onus is very much on her to undo the trash. And I keep getting things like "Let Eve cook." I've seen comments like that and saying that you got to wait and see for the changes to happen. And it's so ignorant to comic book sales. Like comic book readers are just gonna sit there and wait and read this stuff. Undo it. I don't care about story continuity, and neither does Marvel. The Black Panther was kicked out of the Avengers. If we look at the end of that run, you know what? He's back on the Avengers. So there was no problem with undoing that storyline. He said he wouldn't be the Black Panther again. He's still the Black Panther. He to himself, he wears the Black Panther suit. Why can't we make him king again too? Just like we immediately, within a snap of a finger, we read issue number 1 of the new Black Panther run. We see him back on top and he's on the throne. We could easily, we see him back becoming Black Panther, even though he said he wouldn't be. We see that. Well, he can also be on the throne. We can dismantle this little democracy that they got going on in Wakanda, which is disruptive and not what he was created to be by Jack Kirby, not the inspirational character he's supposed to be, and not who the readers are looking for. I'm anticipating that this comic gets canceled at 10 because we're at issue number 5 as of right now. Their comic book company is reading their sales data for number 7, and they're saying, oh, this is not a smart decision to keep creating this comic book. Yo, Dr. Ewing, you're going to get canceled at issue 10, so just wrap up your story there. And I'm sitting here like, I just read 5 issues where they did not once did T'Challa say something about, I want to return to becoming the king. It is resuming the piece of trash who wrote previously. This is furthering and honoring and cementing further the trash that we got. If you consider that was garbage, I consider that garbage too. Then anything that the writer right now of the Black Panther comic is doing is only resuming and progressing that trash decision. Every comic book, every $4 that I spend on this comic, I'm supporting Black Panther not being king or T'Challa not being king. And when they eventually cancel and they say, hey, smart idea, let's copy the movies. Like 50 Shades of Beige, like you're saying. Let's copy the movies. We're going to make Shuri Black Panther. I'm going to say, hell no. You see, Shuri has something called the Aja Adana. She's a griot. She has abilities that are unique to her. And what she deserves is her own comic book. Now, if they told me Dr. Ewing is writing the Black Panther comic adjacent to a Shuri comic, it'll mix up to it, it'll combine and become an event. I'm there buying every Shuri and every variant of Shuri and supporting both, and it will make for a great comic book story to build up to. But if representation for Shuri and everything she fulfills, if that comes at the expense of the greatest, most important, highest profile, top Black character, who he's only the top Black character, not the top character that's ever happened, and could use every and everything to boost him up. If supporting Shuri means that the Black Panther comic book or the character, the legend, needs to be shafted, or his association with the brand needs to be compromised or shared, or then I'm gonna look at that as a straight up no. I will not fund that. I will only fund advancement. That's all I want. I hope that's a clear concept as I got something on the lens. I hope that's clearly understood. And if it's not, it's going to go to fall on deaf ears. That's okay too. This we got to copy the movies is a terrible idea. I loved when Falcon, the first issue of Falcon, he was done being Captain America, and the book is just called Falcon. You read it, and it says about how he wants to make a name on his own as the Falcon. You know, rather than take another person. All right, cool. Rodney Barnes wrote that. A black writer wrote that. And then we get what we get a few years later. Hey, Captain America, symbol of truth. Sam Wilson's back as Cap. Why? Because of the movies. Interesting how they could do just because of the movies. For characters like the Black Panther, for characters like Sam Wilson. When Aunt May died in the movies, are they going to kill Aunt May in the comics? Oh no, then we understand that the movies and the comics are separate things, right? The expendability is telling of how character. Oh, even if we go to Secret Invasion, remember how War Machine Rhodey was all of a sudden? Yeah, he was a scroll this whole time. Whatever. Yeah, someone has to be a scroll the whole time. Let's make it Rhodey. Had the expendability of these characters who've got that dark skin tone thing called melanin of how they can just change up stories and just see what happens and be untrue to what came before. Something I notice. It's something I notice. I will boycott loudly when Shuri is the Black Panther again in a comic book. That would be character regression, as she has already advanced and past that, based on what Ta-Nehisi Coates did. So if we're furthering and elevate, if we're moving forward with stories, it would be the opposite of what Coates' intention was, where he allowed her to have her own power, allowed her to have her own thing, similarly to how Venom has spawned out of the Spider-Man mythos identity to become his own kind of ongoing, can carry his own franchise type thing. Maybe we should do the same with Shuri rather than having her regress to becoming a Black Panther one more time or a government authorized the Black Panther. Because from that, what she said in issue number 5 about T'Challa, that's a story for another time. Like what? Why are you busy, Shuri? Tell us, let us know. And Shuri's like, I gotta go do something else. See you, T'Challa. Maybe she is the government Black Panther, and that's why everyone in the comic keeps saying to T'Challa, he's not the real Black Panther, because there's actually a quote, a real Black Panther happening. And I would hate to see that on issue number 10, final page, that Shuri's like, oh yeah, I guess I am the Black Panther again. And then it says at the bottom, to continue reading, read Shuri, the Black Panther, issue number 1, coming out next month. I'm going to say, hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no. Listen. So I'm going to say, even the listen part at the ending for added comedy, I'm going to say that every single time. The Shuri Black Panther, I just said it again. Hell no. Every time I say that the word Shuri Black Panther is going to be followed with a hell no. And I don't care that others are going to say, Chillmonger, you're anti women right now. That's falling on deaf ears. I'm anti not advancing the greatest Black Panther, the greatest character ever, and making you associate the word Black Panther with a different character. That is not how you get a character popular. The Batman franchise has Batman, and we think of one guy. Ashura, they're canceling BP again. I'm telling you that it's happening at issue number 10. There's no word from the comic book company, but I pulled up some sales estimates. Again, they're estimates. The rankings of the comic, and it's ranking to be the issue 3 ranked to be the 144th highest seller. They're not going to keep making this comic book if it's not selling. They'd much rather reboot and do like a 5-issue limited series. Why would she be the Black Panther once more? The movies. That's why. Everything right now is speculation, Ashura. This video will age and I'll look smart, or I'll look completely stupid, and that's fine also. She became a Griot. What a waste of lore. Look at this man reading comic books, because that's what I was saying about a minute ago before you came in. Hey, Cole Turner. Yo, hi, chill. What's up? Just singing over here, just chilling and singing. Ah, sales and the like 10,000 mark of units sold is historically when comics stop selling. Like the Ironheart comic stopped around 9,000 comics for issue number 12, and they didn't say, let's go 6 more and we'll cancel at 18. They understood where the fan base have spoken, the customers have spoken, and the comic book retailers who order these comics at around the 9,000 estimate mark. 9,000 comics was not worth paying Evel Ewing to create that Ironheart comic book. I imagine she has the same page rates for this comic book. And when it's getting this low, and when I notice that the creators who are hired to draw the comic books are getting pulled, and they're putting in new guys who we've never heard of and have low page rates, it's probably because the sales don't warrant artists as Chris Allen. That's why. I want to talk about Alex Ross and how his comic book covers were probably very, not probably, they were meaningful and boosting that last comic book volume that we got, which lasted 15 issues, written by Voldemort, the human garbage and trash anti-black takes shithead. That guy, his name was Ron Gidley. The Alex Ross covers helped keep that comic going. Audiences who weren't really reading the Black Panther, oh, Alex Ross is on there. Let me buy that. This comic doesn't have the benefit of that, and the sales are in the toilet. The sales are plummeting after issue 3 to be the 144th highest selling comic in Marvel, or in the industry. It's cancellation territory. 144th. If you think about how Marvel releases 60 comics a month, maybe DC does 50 a month, everything else is independent comics and other franchises. We're at issue 3 and we're already dipping. That's crazy. Wakanda Forever destroyed that franchise. Nathan Moore. Thank you, Nathan Moore. Yeah, you're the best. Anti-recasters were asking what. By the way, the reason I'm laughing is because the Marvel Studios executive producer is named Nate Moore. So when I see this, that's what we're laughing at. If you didn't know, but most of you probably know that. The anti-recasters were asking why people don't talk about Black Panther 2 online because it was so great. Toys were eating dust. So true. So true. And they have that information. You like the direction Dr. Eve Ewing is going? I respect that. Mr. YouTube 9992. If you're reading and you're enjoying it, and thank you, and watch all of our videos. Theo put up his review just a couple days ago, and Dre Mack has a review also if you didn't catch those. And maybe you did. But yeah, keep tuned in. I'm not saying that the story is bad or anything. I do have minor complaints like why am I reading Kashinda and Woro and there's Mama Ilonga and there's Baba Nikisu and there's Kivuma, right? There's these 3 bigger villains, and I'm spending time on pages with these smaller villains. Like, I do have my issues and stuff, but it's not like it's a shit story. I'm not criticizing Eve Ewing's writing. I'm more so criticizing the decision to maintain his non-king status because we could really be getting the same storyline with him being burned into T'Chaka and taking an interest in the city without him being the outskirts Black Panther, without him not being the king. We could have undone the trash shit from 15 issues of with issues. He had 15 issues of issues. We could have resolved them and then got it right into the story with Kivu Ma and whatnot, but we're deciding not to. He says it would be sad if she doesn't finish the story she wanted to tell. Just remember that when she had an interview with Black Comic Lords, the Will Moss who reached out to her, and I think she even asked how many issues, how long is it gonna go, and he's like, I don't know. Meaning, when the comic book sales are low enough to warrant cancellation, you're gone. She didn't know how long she had, and she's writing like it. The way that this guy is not he's not the king anymore. I hope I hope a lot of things. I'm gonna say something foul, but I hope she takes a pay cut in order to warrant more stories being written by her just to get him back on the throne. I don't know if that's a goal of hers or not. Or maybe she's pro Shuri. I don't know her, Dr. Ewing. I don't know her intentions, what to do with the throne. Maybe she's anti-democracy, rather monarchy. I don't know anything about her. I know it's good story. I know it's entertaining story. But before the entertaining story, you have to realize that the kingship is very prominent to the fans who were turned off by that aspect and stopped reading. Some people stopped buying the comic. If you want to keep it going, I advise all of you. So there's 20 people watching the live right now. Thank you. Hit thumbs up. I advise all of you to do what I do, and that's to purchase the comic book and purchase the variants covers also, like this. This is a variants comic for issue number 2. I thought I had this week's, but I don't just buy the regular Black Panther comic and say that's it. I do more. I'm trying to be the reason why this shouldn't be canceled. I need this to progress. I need this. She's a talented writer with. She has a conscious to past storylines. She's in favor of resuming things. She's got this problem where she was dumped in a terrible time in the Black Panther lineage, in the Black Panther mythos, right after he says some uncharacteristic stuff to Jahai, where he says he doesn't want to be the king anymore. And I used to have that page, and I still do. I do have the strength to take the throne. But for the first time in my life, I have the strength to walk away. The throne's not mine, Jahai. I can't claim it. I don't deserve it, and I will be king no more forever. That piece of shit named Ron Gidley, who wrote a slave movie and got an award for it. That piece of shit wrote that on his last comic out. Like, as he was terribly representing this character, making him say uncharacteristic shit, he goes and says that. And at no point did the editor Will Moss say, "No, no, 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 we got to protect this character. That's not why he was created. It's very fundamental of him to become the king." He didn't say that. Will Moss don't give a shit. You think the editor's editing this comic? You could put a typo in there. He won't even notice. The editor's just there. He's not there like he is for Thor or for other stuff he edits. I don't value this editor. I kind of got off topic. What was I responding to? What was I responding to? I don't know. Yeah, if she finishes the story she wants to tell. She was dumped at a bad period of time. And then her decision to maintain, maybe it's not even hers. Maybe she's told by editorial that you can make him a Black Panther, but he can't be the Black Panther because there's going to be Shuri, because it's got to copy the movies. Even though, like I said earlier, Aunt May did not die in a comic book. By the way, Chill, do you read Boom Comics? They do retelling better of MMPR. Boom Comics. So you mean like Boom Comics right here, Boom Studios, where issue number 4 of the Creed Next Round book came out, where it wraps up the story of see, you guys didn't know Adonis Creed over here. This guy is facing his brother in the business field. And who's that fighting? Remember Amara? Remember the deaf girl from the movie? Amara gets a little older. This comic book happens a little bit in the future. Can't wait for that to be adapted. Michael B. Jordan, it says he's like a consulting editor of this comic, so he approved of the story. So yeah, I read Boom. I have watched your videos on the new Black Panther. Good, mid, or nah? Good, as far as good. Yes, good. Good comics. Would recommend you continue reading. I'm just scared of how little time we have, and I'm speaking out right now with my platform to say we just don't have enough time and sales are not high enough to expect this run to be a 50 issue long thing. They will cut it off at the legs at one point, and I hope they do not cut it at a point where he's not on the throne. It's entertaining. Yeah, I got you, man. I know what you mean. You haven't. I feel you on the focusing on other characters' parts. I read the X-Men Red, and I hate how Storm doesn't have more focus in her book. She'll never have the focus on other people's books or a group of books like that. It's a group of book. It's an X-Men show. Don't go in there expecting it to be her book. It's always going to be a team book, and she can have good performances in a team setting, and she may have an issue or two where she's kind of primary and stuff. But it is a team book with Storm, and they've been doing a great job with Storm over the years from when she was inception to now. Storm's been very prominent, or at least valued. Not like if you can think of other mutant characters who they started and they just don't use. Storm has been. I give it up to Marvel. Juju Rose, he's got 2 people in his. From New York, New York. They are not going to reboot with Shuri. Again, you said rebooting with Shuri. You know what comes next? Hell no, no, no. Is what I gotta say to that. If it's about sales, Shuri won't sell anything. #1 comic. So it'll do a 5-issue limited series. From inception, they'll tell you this is only going to go for 5 comics or 4 as they've been doing lately because they're trying to fool your comic books. When your comic book shop gets comfortable with the orders, with the pre-orders by issue number 4, because they can see how many comic books one were already sold, and 2 months later they're putting in their pre-order forms. When they see what happens for issue number 4, they can make a fair estimate of how many issue 5s to get. Marvel doesn't want that. They want you guys to be guessing in the dark of how many customers will read Shuri. And yes, all the guys who read Black Panther, namely me, will not be picking up a Shuri issue number 1. And there'll be like the ratio variance of 1 out of 20 and 1 out of 10. And your comic book shops will overorder number 1 issues of Shuri Black Panther, which will come a month after they cancel Black Panther right now. Let me get back to your point here. If it's about sales, Shuri won't sell anything. They will sell to comic shops. And then at the shop, the comics will still be on the shelves. It doesn't matter. The sale is counted. As far as Marvel is concerned, as far as all of the charts we look at, when a comic book is ordered and it's at the shop, Even if no one's picking it up, it's there. It's considered sold, and then it's in the dollar bin. Same chill. I buy multiple copies of the main cover and all the variants. That's what I'm talking about, Juju Rolls. And then I get the trade paperback also. I want to support and fund the idea that this is a meaningful comic worth beginning and staying as ongoing and perennial as the Amazing Spider-Man runs are. When one ends, when Ryan Otley and not Ryan Otley, but Nick Spencer closed out his. They never stopped. They got like Spider-Man Beyond with a couple other writers, and then they rebooted with number one just a month after the last Amazing Spider-Man that we got. They don't take breaks like that. When the Captain America Sentinel delivery stopped, they got the J. Michael Straczynski back in here the same year. Captain America issue number one. The Black Panther is that. T'Challa, the character I'm speaking about. I am not talking about a mantle, and you knew I wasn't. Damn, that busted lip. My lip wasn't? Oh, you. Oh, I know. Okay, yeah. This right here, right? Yeah, let me get that anti-Black Panther propaganda off the screen. Ashura. Yeah, it's nuts. Hey, Black Comic Lords are in the building also. I'll get to your comment in a second. We just all admit that the Disney Marvel is simply run by anti-Black racists. Or unconsciously ignorant people. Are they anti-Black racists? We could say that. I haven't purchased any of their content since No Way Home. Hit them where it hurts. Yeah, Lucas, I understand. I understand. Here. I understand. You can't fund that. It says here, sadly, even. Yes, Mr. Yes, that's absolutely true. It's up to people like us to support it. And I wish you would have done more media. I wish you would have taken care of that. But and used her platforms to push this. Maybe she is, and I'm not. And I'm minimizing that she is. Maybe she is, but still, there's a lot. There's places who will hear her out. Charlemagne is a radio personality with millions of following. She could probably, as the Black Panther writer, she could probably get on that radio show. I don't know what it takes to get on the radio show, but she could. He who will not be named may hear from our lawyer for intentional infliction of emotional distress. As our he's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers based on the 90s TV show. Pre-order Black Panther at your LCS. That helps show interest. Of course it does. And don't let those Black Panther comics sit on the shelf. If you see number 5 there on the shelf next week when you go to the comic shop, pick that shit up. Tell your comic book shop with that sale when there's no more Black Panthers on the shelves. Oh, damn, I'm not ordering enough. Let me pick up more. So even if you guys at your comic shops don't have the pull list system or the subscriber based model where you can tell your guy at the shop, here's a list of things I want. Even if you guys don't have that, pick them up off the shelves too. That also matters. And we're at issue number 5, so they're going to be considering whether or not they cancel for at issue number 10, which is we got like 3 more months until the issue 10 pre-orders are in. They will cancel. It's just a matter of when, because the sales are terribly low. The Kivu Ma new villain, who's the first appearance, may signal to some speculators to pick up that comic book. And like I just said, when they're not on the shelves anymore, comic book retailers are going to say, I'm under ordering Black Panther. So maybe issue number 6 will have a little more orders and 7 will have a little more orders. Maybe because Kivu Ma, the villain that just appeared, was a first appearance here, a cameo appearance. But the first full appearance may be at the next months. And maybe that will result in, and it's a low print count. Even if a lot of people on the secondary speculator market, even if a lot of them kind of show up. Whoa, that was a hiccup and a burp. Even if a lot of them do show up, it will still be a low a real printing comic. Like they're not selling 60,000, 70,000 like Amazing Spider-Man. They're in the teens. They're in the 12, 13, 14,000 sales, okay? Or 11,000 if we go off of my memory of what the 144th comic usually sells. And when they're that low, you always cancel, maybe reboot with a new title. Like what they were doing with Shang-Chi. Remember how they were always Jin Yuing Lan. He was writing a 5-issue limited series of Shang-Chi. And then another 5. He did it like 4 times. And then another 5-issue series. The reason for that, instead of going 20 issues, was because every 5 issues they could sell a new number 1 which would be over ordered by your comic shops. And so it was a great decision. So rather than going issue 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of Black Panther by Dr. Ewing, they would rather reboot with a number one. After 10, they would reboot with a number one, Dr. Ewing, some artist you've never heard of, doing the comic book covers too. And hopefully that number one will be selling so much higher than what an 11 issue 11 would have done. Then it justifies continuing. If you wish to help your Black Panthers numbers, yeah, you're like the foremost kind of loudest voice here, Black Comic Lords. Whichever one of you guys is in charge of this account right now, you guys have kind of a clipped out moment where Dr. Ewing herself is like, "This is how comic sales work," and she kind of breaks it down. And you guys play that often. If it's Paul and Rich, I sent you guys a DM about getting together. Read some more. If they don't put T'Challa on the throne and Marvel Comics sees no one's buying because Feige is directing MCU and likes to seep in the comics bad move, pre-order at your. We got that, Chesney Goodson. We got it. Over order, not just pre-order. Yeah, you're gonna pre-order it. Over order. Do what we do. Me and you right now. The way that we support, more of you guys need to be doing that. Buy more comics than just the ones you're gonna read. Keep one for a collection. Kivuma. Can you imagine how happy you would have been if you ordered 2 Kivuma first appearance comic books and you had that in your collection? You'll never regret supporting the Black Panther comic book. If and again, this is something that I say that maybe Rich won't agree with. Don't buy The Daughter of Blade. Save your money on this Gang War Luke Cage comic book. Save your money on these dead end, already set to fail, no point of paying your money for. If you want to make a difference, buy the Black Panther comic book. Buy the top character that's ever happened to exist in Marvel Comics with melanin in his skin tone and make him undeniably an ongoing perennial comic book character. When we read and we look for those event comic books, we rarely see Luke Cage, with the exception of Chip Zdarsky making him the mayor. We rarely see characters who Shuri. We rarely see these characters like Misty Knight. We don't see them in these big events. You know who we do see? The Black Panther and Storm. We do see those two. There's only 2 black characters in Marvel Comics who matter. Not disrespecting Photon, not disrespecting Blue Marvel. I'm telling you that according to Marvel Comics, there's 2 who are part of their plans when they do big events, when they're storytelling the grand picture to the regular audience who is just reading Avengers or something. Oh, yeah, the Black Panther's a perennial character. He matters. Support that. Spend money on that. Elevate him. Make him so he is just as prominent as characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Characters who appear like the Fantastic Four. Like let's get them up there. F the Guardians. Let's get them to FF level. Let's get them to Thor level. And we can do that with buying 2 comic books. Spend your money on him. Don't think, oh, I'm doing something for Black Power because I got this tie-in comic to an event of a black character who's doomed to be canceled and the company was never behind. I'm going to buy Luke Cage Gang War. Don't do that. Save your money or better concentrate your funds into progression. It says also do reviews. It helps with promotion. Is this the first time you've been here, Majin Khan? I get comments like that often where they say, Chillmonger, you need to, what about promoting black creators? I got one like that like a couple months ago. Why don't we, you guys new here? Do reviews. It helps with promotion. Chillmonger does 2 reviews. I reviewed one on Wednesday and then I did a group panel. What do you mean? You might be talking to other people, Majin Khan. You might be saying to other people, and I agree with this, Majin Khan. Hey, everyone watching right now, I don't care if you have a channel or not. You have one of these shits, right? Go up, turn it sideways. That's called landscape, and then record what your thoughts are, or put it horizontally or vertically. Do a portrait. Point your camera at the comic book page and talk about what you thought about this comic book. Do that enough times and make it a community. Do what they asked you to do at the end of this issue where they said write in at Marvel and send an email, right? You can do that too. There's ways to help. I might need to do that today, and I might need to say he better remain the king. I don't care how low sales are. I haven't watched his vid, but I hear Superior Spider-Man is back after he lost his memories and gone back to it. I don't care. We're ready when you are, bro. I could send you the invite link right now. So that's what I said. I was just saying, like, tell me what weeknight you wanna. What I said in the DM, and everyone can hear this. Let me know when on a weeknight, and we can chill. Right, like you're in Florida, yeah, Paul. So what? 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Eastern. Let's just chat it up. I'll think of a topic. So you tell me which day of the week. You can tell me now. I'll read. Rob from Comics explained, bro. I don't have the resources or the access to this man. I don't have Rob the Comics explained. If I had a high sub count, I'd feel great about reaching out to somebody like him. But with such a low sub count, uh, I can imagine what Rob would say. The fuck am I gonna spend my time with this? I don't gain from this. And I understand that. I understand that point. It'd be nice of him to use his platform to put other people on. I get it, but I get why he wouldn't, and I wouldn't even ask. When someone has a lower sub count, such a low sub count, like what's 3,000 subs and the 16 people who are watching right now. And thank you to your 16. I'm grateful. But what's he gonna do with a YouTuber who's got 16? You know what I mean? Like he may not want to do that, or he may have done that enough times this year when he did his podcast with Quentin. Quentin Time Reviews. What's his name? Quentin Time, the Q Time podcast. Oh my god, I forgot what it was called. But he did a podcast interview with Quentin. I pre-order all the comics I purchase. Yeah, me too. I buy Blade. That's great. You buy Blade. Brian Edward Hill. Has Blade been a perennial? My- By all means, like maybe Blade is the one, right? But after that Monica Rambeau photon stuff, and I saw the sales dwindle there, and I'm like, now I just don't even want to spend money on anyone who's not Black Panther. So the money that would have went to Blade actually went to the Black Panther comic. And Blade is not the daughter of Blade. Blade. Blade is not a role model. Yeah, she had a comic. It was called Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. New Blade is an ongoing as well. Who asked for a Daughter of Blade comic? Were Coates' Intergalactic Empire a reboot? Yes, they rebooted with issue number 1. So they went like 25 issues of his regular, and they even changed the numbering to match the legacy numbering when they were on that kick back in 2017. Then in 2018, a new number 1 issue. It was like a couple months after the movie came out, and it was called Black Panther, Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. And I read that shit, and I'm fresh off of the movies. I'm not a comic book reading fan, but the movies converted me, and I'm going to the shop, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy with amnesia? And I did not continue that book. I ordered issue number 2, and he was still acting uncharacteristic, and I said, I don't get it. But on Marvel Unlimited, I was reading some Reginald Hudlin Black Panther and a lot of other Black Panther on Unlimited, where he was acting like himself. The audience from that movie, who was all riled up and jizzed up to support the Black Panther comic, we all we all got a rude awakening, man. We all got a character we're not familiar with, and we stopped reading. The same thing is happening with the Dr. Ewing run. I don't care how good it is, and I don't care how we gotta just wait and let her do her story. If you open a comic book and he's not the king, who the hell is this character? I don't want to read it. I don't recognize this character. And that's probably why sales are in the toilet. 144th highest selling comic. If we go off of ICV2's estimates and the relationship they have with stores, the 144th selling comic for issue number 3. You know it's gone down and down and down since. We know what that means. Miles Morales. Again, he's kind of guy with a ceiling. He's the secondary Spider-Man. Don't tell me what to do with my money, chill. You're right, I shouldn't. Dexter Hobbs. That first issue of Blade hits, though. I've been buying Black Panther as well. I support that. It's written by Rodney Barnes, though. I still don't care. I'm talking about advancement. I don't. Good, yeah. Black Comic Lore. Spend your money on what you want to spend your money on. I can speak for myself. I can buy Philadelphia to support Rodney Barnes and get him going, but a tie-ins comic book is never relevant, and I'm using my $4 in a much more impactful way when I support the Black Panther comic. I don't have much money either. Remember that probably matters too. I stopped reading Miles. They were throwing shit across the wall. He was getting many mantles. Oh yeah, I remember that. The what if kind of period. Paul's in Florida, Rich is in the Texas time zone. All right, all right. Rob went on Quentin's channel and he has like 200 subs. You're right. Yep. You're welcome for being the 16th. 16th viewer. Well, now I got 19th viewers, L. Appreciate all of you. Thumbs up. I'm about to close this video out. Let me read everyone's last comment. If you have a last comment, put it in here. It says, nah, he's only like legacy number 30 or something. He's only legacy 30? What are you talking about? The Black Panther comic book, when Ta-Nehisi Coates was writing it, I remember it being like legacy 168, and then it closed, and then it stopped. And Ta-Nehisi Coates was still the writer, but they rebooted with number one. And Intergalactic Empire, it's just the story came out of nowhere. He had amnesia, he couldn't remember himself, and there was characters named M'Baku who were not M'Baku, and Nakia who were not Nakia, and it was a weird thing. Oh, Blade. Okay, I got you. I got you. Blade has only 30 issues. Ashura heard on Miles, but the present run with Cody Ziegler doesn't do all that extra. It's dope. There you go, man. Support the Miles Morales comic if you're into that. I'm into comic book characters having their own identity and not going, who? Oh, that one. And the Miles Morales brand would be better off if he had his unique name and did a lot more things to separate himself from what Peter Parker Spider-Man is. I heard people hated the Coates run like, man, yeah, I was mad on it too, but he did not de-king him. He did not split up Storm and him. There was a lot of things, even though he was slow storytelling. I get the complaints, which I have. This man was not over here assaulting the characters, what he stands for, the foundations of the character. And with that being said, thank you for your 41 minutes of time. I will not be supporting a Black Panther comic that does not have him as the Black Panther because I will not be a participant in my own oppression. I'm Chillmonger. And if I see Shuri Black Panther, I will boycott loudly because giving that money funds the idea that the top Black character that's ever existed now has to have some competition within his own franchise. And that is not how we advance the greatest. The greatest. If this was the 7th or the 8th, whatever. Oh, that'd be great. Anansi. That would be a great name. DC might have that trademarked. You never know, though. I'm surprised Marvel has Wonder Man because of Wonder Woman. Did I complete my point about Shuri? Yeah. It's not an anti-woman thing, and I'm prepared for every single. You're not supporting women. How could you? Oh, look at you. You just don't want to pay for Shuri. Do I need to show you my stack of Shuri? Pull up Shuri comic book review and see how I reviewed that comic book series, and see how I paid money to support Shuri when it wasn't coming at the cost of Black Panther. See that. See how I'm in favor of this character growing, and even her as her Aja Adana persona being as popular as what Venom did when it spun off of the Spider-Man franchise. See how supportive I am of that, which I am. I'm not going to support this comic being canceled just so we can copy the movies. Aunt May didn't die in a comic book because they needed to copy the movies. Bye-bye. I don't know. Where do I direct you to? Watch T'Challa Time issue number 5. I got not from Black Comic Lords. I got ATL Blurred. His name's Mark, and he showed up on that stream. Theo Butler was on that stream. B-Rule with D-Rule was there, and the last member was Kaizuku Slevin. And we went for a whole hour talking Black Panther. If you enjoyed this, spend your time there. Miles should be renamed. I heard WB fired Ezra too late. Oh, I don't care about that shit. Jonathan Majors is innocent. Recast T'Challa. Free Palestine. Well,